Mr. Speaker, when I came with you. And Mr. Speaker, our children go to the same schools. Mr. Speaker, our communities now intermarry. Mr. Speaker, for Chenda to reach Kisumu, he has to leave Nairobi County, he goes to Nakuru County, Bomet County, I think Kisii, I may not be very sure there, but finally to Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, sir, if there is one gift we can give to our nation, as members of this House, is to do exactly what the President has done, that we need to unite as a country, so that, Mr. Speaker, even as we receive various legislative proposals as outlined by the President, even as we receive various policy interventions, administrative, Mr. Speaker, for us to debate as a House, so that we are able to, Mr. Speaker, fulfill the clear plan of the Kenya Kwanza government in serving this country, Mr. Speaker. We are going to do so, Mr. Speaker, with one mind, without looking at it in terms of it is being done by the Kenya Kwanza coalition, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I am happy that this House, Mr. Speaker, as we begin this session, we are going to work very hard to ensure that we really do what the President has encouraged us to do it under paragraph 14 and 15 of this address. Mr. Speaker, the President again, and I'm happy for this also, promised to run an administration which is open and transparent, accountable to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, his proposal to this House and the other House, Mr. Speaker, to amend our standing orders, to allow ministers to appear before us as elected leaders, so that we ask questions, we raise issues of concern to our people. Mr. Speaker, in my view, this is a clear expression that the President has nothing to hide. He would want to ensure that Kenyans get value for their money, for the tax they pay, and ensure that the elected leaders, Mr. Speaker, is able to be addressed by the leadership. Mr. Speaker, you and myself and Kalwale was in this very House, Mr. Speaker, in 2007. Let me inform members here who are new that in 2007, in the 10th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, this was the chamber for the entire House. The current National Assembly chamber, Mr. Speaker, was actually developed the other day. And Mr. Speaker, you remember when we were here with you, and Honorable Kalwale, and I don't know who, and I think Mukatana also was here. When, Mr. Speaker, the ministers, that time, Mr. Speaker, I was the minister serving in the Justice Ministry. And I was asked questions here. I was able to respond why we don't have codes in Mutembei, why we don't have law codes in Nakuru, why we don't have law codes in the whole country. Mr. Speaker, I remember making clear undertakings in the House and was able to share this with the PS. That time our PS was Amina, the current Minister for Sports, and were able to avail funds to those institutions, Mr. Speaker. It was only possible to achieve that because the ministers were able to come to the House. I therefore want to really agree with the President that that is the way to go. And Mr. Speaker, I have been the chairman of CHILAC in the other House, in the 12th Parliament. And I was the chairman of Delegated in the 9th Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, we go to see a minister in a room